Hello everyone. We're going to be configuring this R710 to have an SSD to boot off the ESXi platform, Hypervisor, and then we're going to configure the RAID. So let's do this together. We'll fire it up, and you guys can actually hear the R710 how loud it is for initial boot up. You can hear that? There are the things. Darn monitor, it goes yellow sometimes. If you need to replace that, get an LCD, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta use things till they die. So yeah, we can fix it by doing this. Going back here and doing that. Boom. Once that boots up, we're going to go into the RAID. And this, we're going to configure a few of these drives. So we're going to delete all VDs. Yes. That darn flickering. Okay, we're going to clear config. Yes. Okay, so now we're going to install this, and put that in drive 0. We don't need to put I could do it in RAID 1, but since it's not a production server, we're just going to put it into RAID 0 for ESXi. So I'm going to install this, and I'll bring you guys back in a second. Okay, so we got the SSD installed. As you can see, it's right there. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these will be, so this is one partition, second partition, and this will be a RAID 1 with 15K to our 147 GB drives. This will be for some high intensity data intensive applications. So let's fire it up. Anything to see there? So dusty. There we go. So we removed 2 drives. It is the 147 GB 15K drive. I removed 2 of them, so there's a second one. And this will be like a how to install ESXi, so it's going to be a great thing for everyone to know how to install ESXi and R710. So it's booting up right now, so we're just gonna get into the RAID manager. Control R, which is for Dells, it is Control R for all the PERC controllers. For the RAID configuration, and now we see there's a different type of form configuration on this adapter. So we're gonna actually load the configuration utility, and we're not gonna import anything. So there's 0 virtual drives. We're gonna actually clear the config as well. We're gonna double check if the configuration form is cleared as well. Okay, so this drive right here is going to be all by itself, and we're going to label it the OS. We don't need any other fancy things, so we're going to do that. And we're going to fast initialize it just to save some time. We'll initialize the rest later, but it's an SSD, so it should be pretty quick. And then we're going to create a new virtual drive, and we're going to do, I say let's RAID 6. So these are the 5 147 GB drives that are 10K, and they will be on their own RAID. And let's do data. Oops, if I could spell today. Data store. There we go. There we go. So now we're going to initialize this array of drives. And it's fairly easy to create a virtual disk on the PERC controllers, not too hard at all. And we're going to do RAID 1, forgot that clears it, and then we're going to do data 15. Okay, there we go. There we go. And we're going to fast initialize this. So everything is initialized. And now if we go back to the thing, the drives usually should start rebuilding themselves after I reboot the server. So let's see how that will go. So now we're going to reboot. Let's do exit. Yes. Control delete. Now, usually the drives will be synchronizing themselves. So this is a RAID 0 for the SSD, just for the operating system for Hypervisor for ESXi. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are 547, 46 GB 10K drives, and 2 drives into RAID 1, which are for higher data I/O intensive applications, are these 2 drives. So that's all set up, and then next step is to install ESXi. Okay, so now the drives are synchronizing, as you guys can see. Getting their parity levels all equally, and the only drive that's doing it is the SSD, since it's by itself. There's no RAID on it other than RAID 0. So now I have my flash drive with ESXi. Now we're gonna to the keyboard and reboot. Oh, sorry. Boot manager. We're gonna do. We might have to reboot. Let's do a reboot on a server. There we go. So let's configure memory. These servers are pretty nice. They're very reliable. I have not had any issues. Down the road, I will get some R720s to replace my 2 servers that are over there. But for right now, I'm going to use the 710s for a while, and they've been very good toward me. There we go. RAID's already configured, so we can skip that. But we're going to go to the BIOS. So F11, as you guys can see, entering boot BIOS manager. So we're going to set up this server as a little hypervisor. It's going to be more like a playground, other than actually to be part of the. It will be added to the vCenter server as well, but it will not be part of the HA high availability toward my cluster. So this will be just to have VMs on there, just to play around with, and nothing too serious. And this one has 12 gigabytes of memory. We'll probably insert some more after the installation is done. I don't know, now we're connected. Oh, it's static. Whoops. So there we go. So now we have a front USB. What? Ah. Well, let's try this. Dude, I know it has the darn thing. So let's try it again. Okay, F2. I think it wants to unify. Okay. Let's try this. I know it has my ESXi on there because I just verified it, because I've been using that flash drive for many times. There we go, configuring memory. These servers are nice because they're very, very quiet when they're alone. The loudest thing in there is actually my switch on my rack. It is my Dell PowerConnect 5448, non-PoE. So if you hear the humming, it's the switch. Let's do F11. And now it's entering the UEFI boot manager. It can look a little bit different, so now let's see if it lets us in. 3 virtual drives. That's correct. So once it boots up, we're gonna get into the thing and supposedly be able to boot ESXi. Now if it doesn't, that's an epic fail moment for us. And all the YouTubers watching it, so you guys can have a little comedy moment. So cross our fingers. And we should see something in a few seconds. And if it doesn't, we're gonna go get the good old CD. Okay, oh, sorry, keyboard. Front USB, enter, please work. Yes, ooh yeah. Me, 1, server ESXi 0, I won, woohoo. So while this is booting, our drives are still synchronizing. This usually takes a couple hours since I only fast initialize them. Darn stickers. But I will be getting a few more R710s in the closet that I don't really use. They're more for parts. But I'll probably buy 1 or 2 more of these, actually, that are fully built. Probably locally off Craigslist. But we will see. This will let me have more for parts and other areas. So now we are booting into the ESXi installer. Hopefully by next video, guys, you guys should see an LCD screen because this is horrid. This refresh rate on this monitor, all you can see is going ding. It's like an elevator. There we go. So ESXi should boot fairly fast off that solid state drive. Should be no complications of installing it since we got everything configured. And then we should have around 500, approximately around 500 gigabytes of raw storage on our couple drives here. Probably even more, around 600, including the 15K RPM drives. So once it initializes and relocates all the modules and start up the kernel, we should be able to, it should prompt us to configure it and set up a password. Oh, guess not, just kidding. It's been a while since I installed ESXi. So while this is doing, I will pause the video and come back when it's almost to the set. There we go. We are actually in the ESXi configuration. So this is version 6.0. And then we're going to accept the agreement. Now it's scanning all my drives. So it's asking me where do I want to install it. There's the Dell PowerConnect, which is my SSD, 408 gigabyte partition, 136 install. I was close, around 536 gigabytes, 570, something like that. So we're gonna install it on the SSD. And I'm just gonna put a password in there. It's a little bit tricky typing it in. One hand and holding the camera. There we go. So once it scans and gathers information of the whole server, we will see how fast this goes by. Should be done any moment. There we go. ESXi just finished, and then we're going to remove the installation media. Place it there, and then we're gonna reboot the server. Darn CD popped up. There's no CD. There we go. So we're gonna see how fast ESXi boots off the SSD, which is on RAID 0. No redundancy at all for the OS. So let's see. Configure memory. This part usually takes a little bit longer sometimes on certain servers that have more memory, but the R710 seems to have done this pretty quickly within less than around 5 seconds. There we go. Now we're going to be booting into the RAID controller. We're not booting, we're overloading the RAID controller. And after the RAID controller is the iDirect. And after this step, we should start booting ESXi within seconds. So we're still syncing all the drives. There's the ESXi installed on this one. Okay, just gonna skip this. So we don't have network connectivity yet to this server. It's just standalone. There we go. We're gonna be booting ESXi right after this bad boy goes away. There we go, we're loading the hypervisor. And this is loading off a solid state drive. It's a little bit older SSD, but it seems to do pretty quick. There we go. And once it loads into the ESXi hypervisor, we will see our initial configuration screen where we can statically assign the IP address, host name, and change a few other settings. Shut down, reboot. There we go. So now we should be loaded into the hypervisor right after this step. This usually takes a decent amount of time on servers with spindle drives. With anything with 7200, 10K, and 15K RPM drives, it just takes some time. When a server's on the flash storage, it's much quicker. And once it's loaded, this will be pretty much the end of the video of how to set up ESXi along with configuring a RAID on a Dell PowerEdge R710. There we go, we're almost done. And we should be in ESXi with any second now. Got 3 last blocks, right about 1 now, right there. This will be a raw video, just how it is, because me skipping through some portions will probably be missed, so we're gonna let everyone see if they ever need to fully set up a server. It's usually a 20-minute process tops, depends on what server it is. Before R710, I would say with configuring the RAID, getting everything set up, putting the drives in, it's roughly a 20-minute to 25-minute procedure with not many things involved. Getting a flash drive, getting your drives, and yep, don't forget your screws, you'll need those. Can't even focus on them. But yeah, once it's booted up, we will shut down the server, and that will be the end of the video. And then the next videos will be me using this server for testing other operating systems and stuff like that. I'll be making videos and play around with it, so I don't have to take down my production center. Oh my gosh, taking this video is like, come on, nerd, push. But come on, push. Thing is, servers know that I'm recording. It's like, no, we're just gonna make you wait. Thank you. I feel like we're on dial-up 56 kilobits per second loading. Oh yay! So we're finally in the ESXi. Since we do not have any Cat5 network Ethernet cables plugged in, we won't see any DHCP. We will see a unknown address, and we have that. But yeah, that'll be the end of the video. Subscribe, share, like the video, and thanks for stopping by. See y'all.